Hello and welcome back, consumers. I'm Altari, the professional gamer, and this is another PAX Friday review, the show where we talk about all the fun, interesting, new, and exciting information that has dropped for Pax Dei over the last week. This week we had multiple patch days, as well as a really nice shout out that the devs gave us over on the announcements channel today, Friday. And we're going to go over all of that and more. I'm actually going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on current content creation a bit. This is a promised topic that I said that I would talk about in the professional gamer Discord. So if you're not there, definitely check us out. It is linked down in the description below. But before we get to all of that, we are going to get to the patch notes here first. So if you haven't done so already, please do like this video if you enjoy this type of content. It definitely helps us out. Subscribe so that you can be notified whenever we come out with new Pax Day related content, and share this video so that any of your friends who are interested in staying up to date with Pax Day can do so by our weekly updates, as well as guides and many, many more Pax Day related videos. Another special announcement that I'm going to just mention really quickly here is we are going to be starting a weekly stream on Mondays from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I would greatly appreciate it if you would come over and join us. We're going to be just talking about all things Pax Day. We'll probably be doing a lot of fun, interesting stuff on stream as well. And it's just generally a really fun time. But I wanted to kind of create a nexus where us as a community can kind of gather together. So we're going to be on both YouTube and Twitch. We're going to be streaming to both platforms. So join us on your favorite one, and I hope to see you there. All right, let's go over to the patch notes and get over to those. All right, so here we are at the patch notes section of the official Pax Dei Discord. And Patch Day was on July 17th. We got some features and changes to go over. First and foremost, we all saw the sign, and we got some building signs added to the game. These are actually greatly appreciated. Not only can you use them on boxes, but you can also use them as street signs to help direct people in your cities to the various places for crafting or trading or anything like that. It has been a literal godsend for organization and a really great feature to have. In addition to that, they also added a new feature. You can press F while you're holding on to a building piece in construction mode, and you'll be able to cycle through the various snapping points of that building piece. When you do that, that is a great feature to have. There are now snapping points, and that is just gonna make a huge quality of life improvement for a lot of builders. I know that it's an improvement to me. We're actually working on a huge cathedral building video series that's going to actually be starting hopefully sometime next week. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to be talking about the history of cathedrals and how we're going to try and make this really cool looking cathedral in game. We're also going to be talking about why, and this is going to be an amazing series, and I hope all of you can join us for it. But another important change that is actually to the severe pain of myself and other content creators is that the cinematic camera, or F7 cam, is now disabled outside of home valleys. So if you're anywhere other than a home valley where you can build, you are not going to be entered into F7 mode. So that means wildlands and dungeons, as well as Lioness, the PvP area. No F7. This is actually really sad for me. I hope they add this feature back into the game, but maybe with a couple of changes in terms of the limitations that you had. Personally, I didn't see much of an issue for this feature, even in things like PvP, because you wouldn't be able to see the mobs or see the different players that might be on the map after a certain point. So it wouldn't really give you altogether too much of an unfair advantage. But I think that if Mainframe doesn't add a similar feature back, I mean, this is practically table stakes at this point. The game is so beautiful to not be able to show that off. It's just free advertisement for Mainframe. So I really hope that they find a way to be able to add this camera feature back into the game. I understand why they took it away. There's a lot of aspects of Pax Dei where if you can literally phase through objects and phase through the world, you're going to be able to cheat and see what is on the other side of doors, or see that there's secret hiding locations in dungeons, or in PvP when there's the potential to build and you can have castle sieges. You might be able to see a secret hidden treasure room or something like that players have spent a lot of time trying to hide. So I understand why that is, but I also feel like possibly just adding collisions to the camera, as well as putting it on a different variation of a leash depending on where you're at. So you have an infinite leash and home valleys. You might have a shorter leash in wildlands where you can't go out past a certain distance or radius around your character. And then for dungeons, obviously that's an even shorter leash. And in Lioness, maybe it's somewhere in between dungeons and wildlands. I don't know. I really hope that Mainframe adds this feature back for these other zones. It in reality is only hurting them right now, I think, but I also understand where they're coming from. Mainframe, if you're watching, I beg of you, please do give the camera feature back in some way, shape, or form. I know I definitely appreciate it, and I hope all of you as viewers enjoy it as well. Additionally, we have plum trees now added to the game, and just like that, all of the cooks rejoiced and have infinite boxes of plum trees in the various kitchens throughout Pax Dei. But they also added, because of that, it's going to be impacting the location of apple trees, but other resource locations should not be changed. So if you have a bunch of apple trees mapped out, those are probably going to be different now because plums and apples are competing, it sounds like, for the same node. The user feedback section says that client log files will be collected along with their user feedback to help with debugging. So that's something that didn't exist prior, it seems. So they're just trying to find a way to help with better customer support by collecting that data. For writing, they're updating / adding some item descriptions to all of the items available in game. This is going to be a big one for any of the lore junkies to go back and look at some of these item descriptions to make sure that we haven't missed any new things. I know I'm going to be looking through a lot of those relics. Then also, in terms of fixes, they updated some stuff for the tutorials. They fixed, this is a huge one. This is a massive one. They fixed the drop rates for the hides, animal hides, the orange colored, amazing animal hides. Those have been increased in terms of their drop chances. And this isn't only for bears. We're now seeing the small animal hides being dropped from tier 2 or from rabbits. Those are the tier 2 hides. And then I believe also that bucks or the male deer also drop animal hides as well. So you can get them from those. I believe also growlers as well as bears also will drop them. So the world rejoiced. We now have had a major bottleneck removed. And I know a lot of people are going to be starting to work on leveling up their leatherworking as well as their armor smithing, because that was a real big bottleneck. In terms of building, we had a couple of prop fixes and just a bunch of various issues with like small prop integrity checks. Then there is also some fixes in the crafting area where there were just some recipes that were corrected and crafting timers as well. They also fixed some inconsistent names for leatherworking, and they fixed the wolf meat description in the charcuterie workbench. They also fixed the disappearance of raisins. So now bakers, you can make raisin-based recipes, which is also a really nice thing to have. For combat, they fixed issues where stunned characters were still able to block, even though they weren't or they shouldn't have been able to. NPCs, they were fixing some NPCs becoming unresponsive and unkillable. I know there was a huge potential exploit that we identified in a dungeon and made a bug report for it. It would have been really, really bad if players were able to kind of take advantage of that. It would have completely marginalized an entire resource in the game. So I'm pretty sure that has been fixed now. So that's why I'm also not too worried talking about it. And then they also fixed an issue where respawn timers could be manipulated to force respawns of rare spawns. So we knew it was coming, but being able to log off and log back on or leave an area and come back has been fixed. So for anyone who has watched our Lectors Barbutta farming video, where we gave advice to be able to kind of respawn the mob if you were able to, that has now been fixed. You should have approximately a 14 to 15 minute respawn timer. It was definitely overpowered, so I'm glad that they fixed it, though it does make all of our lives more difficult. They fixed an issue with teleporting, where if you teleported to a home shrine from another province, the character to the shrine coordinates in the current province instead of the actual one that you're supposed to go to. That was kind of a funny bug, which could result in some player deaths, but I'm glad that they fixed that too. And they also said the home shrine icon is no longer displayed when the character is not in their province. There were some world changes as well. They fixed an issue where some caves had a gap in their geometry and then you could fall through. They also helped with NPCs and player characters disappearing when they're obscured. I'm sure every one of you had experienced this at some point, but if you were going through a forest with a bunch of your friends, you would literally, as you pass across different trees and they become obscured, they just disappear. And it was really offsetting when they had light sources like lanterns or torches, because that light source would disappear as well. And it turned into like a strobe show. It was kind of funny, actually. They fixed various parts of PvE sites that were missing collisions, so you were kind of phasing through different areas. So great job reporting all of those. This is the purpose of alphas and early access, is to get that feedback so that they can make corrections. They also removed the crossbow skill, which there's no crossbows in the game yet, so that's why there's no skill for it. But it is great to know that crossbows do indeed exist. It makes me wonder, that is crossbow a higher tier form of bow, or is it going to be a different type of crafting that's just using a higher tier of resource that we just don't have access yet? So I'll be interested to see where that comes from. Then there are also some UI fixes which were integrated in. We had a couple of other patches that were meant to fix some of the issues introduced with the July 17th Patch Day. And the big one came on today, the day of recording, Friday, where they fixed an issue with a lot of the Founders Pack recipes, making them visible in the Founders Crafter table for all game versions. They fixed some bug on loot probability for animal hides, because there was actually, they said it was updated and it wasn't complete. Now all of the tier 2 hides should be spawning at the right ratios as well. That was all of the patch notes for today. I know that was quite a bit to go through, but we had a pretty sizable patch this week. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the announcement, as well as some of the thoughts that I have on content creation for Pax Dei. So I'll see you over there. All right, and here we are at the Friday announcement section of the video. And today we got a blog post about mastering Pax Dei, community tips to enhance your gameplay. And we actually got a nice little shout out from the developers here, but I just wanted to kind of talk about all the different things that I am seeing kind of in the content creation scene. And I want to get some feedback from all of you, but we'll try and make it a relatively short discussion, because I actually have a full video planned, and some of the feedback that you're going to give me today is going to go into that video too. But that being said, we had several different sections, and I'm going to link all of these videos down below. I think all of these content creators, for the most part, are doing an amazing job at covering the game. Not like my opinions matter, but we have collecting resources, crafting and building, skills and professions, spells and abilities, dungeons and PvP. And then we also have some great content creators, both for the French community, German community, and Spanish speaking communities. But I just want to talk about each of these different sections, and I really want to hear what everyone's opinion is in the comments down below. So please do give any feedback that you have on what types of content you prefer down in the comment section below, or any of your thoughts that we're going to be talking about here. So for collecting resources, these are very simple videos. They're a lot to do with just basic introduction to the game. We have some of these on our channel, some tutorials, just how to start off playing Pax Dei, doing the basics, getting those basics mastered and on to go. Then we also have some videos that go on to crafting and building, where we start talking about different things like how to unlock recipes or how skills can affect recipe unlocks, but then also videos like structural integrity and how to build different types of things. There's actually a lot of great content just on building inspiration and where players are getting their inspiration, and some of the stuff that they're building is truly amazing. We have a video planned. That series is going to be coming out starting in the next couple of days, and it's going to be a cathedral building series where we are going to be talking about all of the different types of cathedrals that we have the option to build, as well as trying to make it as realistic and cool as possible. Let's face it, the rule of cool is going to take complete and utter dominance over our build here, but it's going to be a really fun video. We're going to talk about a lot of secret techniques that we've unlocked over the period, and just a lot of research has been done on how to manipulate this structural integrity system to get a lot of really cool builds. Then there's also skills and professions. Damone Kim and Invader Kim, I don't know what it is with the Kims, but they are doing really great at coming out with a lot of really general and basic skill or profession based leveling guides. They are really, really great at that part of the game, and they have just been carrying themselves through. I feel like they are really, really great at putting that type of content out there. So definitely check them out if you're looking for that. And then spells and abilities. We actually got one of our videos referenced here. That's our Lector Barbuda helmet video. In my opinion, the best healing helmet that exists in the game if you're trying to min-max. But let's face it, there are actually way better healing spells that exist in the game. This is just more if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck, armor plus healing ability. But we also have some other more generic guides for how to get your first types of spells, as well as how magic really functions in Pax Dei. And then we have some dungeons and PvP videos talking about all of the different types of dungeons, as well as how to get to the PvP zone. We are going to be covering a lot more when it comes to dungeons as well as PvP. We have an ultimate dungeon guide that we're going to be trying to come out with for every single dungeon that exists in Pax Dei. It's going to be a lot of work, and work is already underway, but I'm very excited to share the first one with all of you. It's probably not going to be coming out in the next week, but it's going to be talking about everything from the map, how to navigate things, as well as the lore that exists in game or has been referenced out of game for all of the different dungeons. This is going to be something that's really important in the future as the lore-based systems start coming into game. We'll have to update these videos as they go on, but I'm really, really excited for that. But that is all of the different types of content that's really there. And what I'm kind of struggling with right now, and I want to hear what everyone's opinions are down in the comments, but what are your takes on having videos kind of just showing you where to get certain items or showing you how to farm different things? I know I have a couple of different farming videos that are going to be coming out in the next couple of days, but it just gives me a bad taste in my mouth because in some ways it's more like I'm just playing the game for people and they just read it. They go and replicate it once and now they're done. I had all the fun exploring and doing all of it because I don't use the Wikipedia pages with the data mined information. Everything that I've found in the game has all been organically done. I have over 1,000 hours of playtime. I have had the opportunity to experience a lot of the game. And because of that, I just have a lot of acquired knowledge. All of my guides are based off of my acquired knowledge though. And I just want to hear everyone's opinions on kind of where they're at on that. I think Pax Dei is a game that's best enjoyed with kind of the same opinions that people enjoyed Valheim, right? Where you would get into the game and you didn't want to have spoilers. You didn't want to have it unveiled that once you progress through a certain boss, all of a sudden a whole system of things involving staves suddenly becomes available. That's a huge spoiler and people didn't want it. So they would completely avoid all of those different things. And I feel like Pax Dei is one of those as well. Now, you can't tell players how to play the game, and I most certainly am not the type of content creator that's just trying to farm views. So hopefully we can get some cool discussions down below, and I actually have a full video planned for kind of my thoughts on that whole aspect of the game, because it's worth a whole video, and maybe someone else will find it useful and see my video and be able to respond to it in some way. But that is all of the information that we have for this week. It was a great week. I always love patch days. It's in my opinion that we're going to probably get a pretty sizable update come maybe mid-August or early September. That's just my intuition. I don't have any inside knowledge on this, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for. There's a lot of stuff on the roadmap that's already kind of started getting checkboxes, which makes me feel like we might get more of an extended roadmap in the coming months. I don't know. Maybe I can be a little wishful in my thinking, but let me know what you are also most excited about in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe so you can get notified whenever we come out with new content. We actually have a video for how to get red runic leashes or crimson runic leashes. It's kind of a farming guide. It's actually really simple. That's going to be coming out very, very soon. We have our Cathedral series, and then we're going to be talking about a huge player event that happened. I believe almost 100 players were in attendance. We almost broke a server, y'all. It was really, really cool, and I had such a fun time. I think it's one of the best ways to be enjoying Pax Day right now. So make sure you tune in for that, and then share this video with any of your friends who want to stay updated with Pax Day. Until next time, I'm Altari, the Professional Gamer.